Today I'd like to talk about taxation in China, because recently we've been receiving a lot of questions about this topic. So let me briefly explain from the perspective of of somebody who runs a company here. But the disclaimer is, obviously I'm not an accountant, and if you guys want to watch more professional content that we did with my accountant on taxation, you can browse through our channel, and there are 2 videos on it. And in both videos we prepared more detailed information about corporate taxation. So that video is going to answer most of your questions in detail. But today I want to briefly explain, as somebody who runs a business, and what kind of taxes we pay. So okay, let's start. Number 1 tax you will face when you register a company is value added tax. Okay, that is VAT. Now in China, VATs are paid when you sell something. It can be physical goods, it can be service to a Chinese customer. Okay, not necessarily Chinese citizen, but Chinese customer in this context means somebody who is in China, right? Like individual or China registered company. So imagine you have a company and you are selling, for example, mobile phones to somebody who is living in China or China registered company. So in this transaction you are supposed to pay VAT. Okay, so for example, you sell this phone for, let's say, 1,000 yuan, and depending on the product, right now I don't know how much the phone pays VAT, how much percentage, but depending on the product, the percentage changes, right? So if it's 1,000, maybe with the VAT is going to be 1,100, for example, But generally speaking, the percentage is between 6% and 13%. Normally 6% is for the services, not physical products. For example, again, your company is delivering some sort of business consulting to a company which is in China, or to individual who lives in China. So in this transaction, you are generally expected to pay 6%. Now, very important element is when you pay this VAT. Normally, when you register your company, you need to clarify what type of taxpayer you want to be. There are 2 sorts of taxpayers. Number 1 is small scale, number 2 is general taxpayer. So VAT is paid by the general scale taxpayer, which is more bigger companies, normally speaking. But small scale taxpayers normally do not pay VAT until they reach a threshold. Okay, there is a threshold, if I'm not mistaken, right now is around 300,000 yuan per quarter. Okay, so if you reach that threshold, now after that, even if you're a small scale taxpayer, you're expected to pay VAT. Okay, but again, I'm not an accountant, and I don't really keep up to date with the accounting policies and laws, so I just 100% trust our accounting team. So therefore it's better to consult a professional accountant if you really want to know the exact percentages. Okay, I'm just giving you here general information. So let's move on. This is VAT. Okay, if you're a general scale taxpayer, then you're expected to pay VAT from day 1, basically, from your first sale. Now, what if the client or the company is outside of China? In that case, no VAT is paid in China. For example, your client is in the US, you are exporting this mobile phone to the US. In this transaction, no VAT is paid. Okay, and VAT, why do I say pay, not collect? Because in some countries the context is collecting VAT, not paying VAT. In China, is actually the selling party pays the VAT from the company account. You don't have to do anything physically, it will be automatically deducted from your company account. So that's why it's pay VAT, right? So let's go back. Your client is outside of China. Now you're exporting this mobile phone, or you're selling some business consulting to a client who is outside of China. In this transaction, no VAT. right? So you don't have to pay anything basically. Now, next type of tax for entrepreneurs is obviously corporate income tax. In China, corporate income tax is paid from the net profit, right? So let's say your turnover is around 100,000, and you pay your salary, you pay your staff salary, and you deduct all the other expenses. For example, you pay for your office, your bills, etc., etc. After deducting everything, whatever is left in your bank account, that is going to be your net profit rate. So from that net profit, you're going to pay corporate income tax. But again, corporate income tax has a threshold, right? Generally speaking, threshold is around 1 million yuan, if I'm not mistaken. If you reach that 1 million yuan, for example, per quarter, after that, you are supposed to pay corporate income tax. But again, guys, I might be making some mistakes regarding the thresholds right now because it's so volatile. It is just to give you a general information, you know. So there is definitely a threshold. If you exceed that threshold, you are expected to pay corporate income tax from your net profit. All right. Otherwise, you don't have to worry about corporate income tax, basically. Now, the percentage, how much you pay. So basically, there is the percentage is between 0% and 25%. So again, depending on the net profit, the percentage which is assigned to your company might be lower. Okay, if the profit is big, obviously it's like a progressive tax. You will be paying up to 25%, okay, depending on the volume, depending on the amount of profit. Now, the next type of tax you will be facing when you run a company is personal income tax. Again, in different countries it might be different, but in China, personal income tax is paid by the employer, okay? Employer in this case is your company, because even if the company belongs to you, you are the director, still you are an employee of your company. So in this case, if you, for example, pay yourself a salary or pay your staff salary, then the employer, your company, is supposed to pay personal income tax to the government from the company account, okay? I can give you an example. For example, in our company, we frequently use 18,000 yuan salary to different stuff. So from 18,000, 1,300 yuan is deducted every month, okay, for the personal income tax. But again, personal income tax is just like any other tax. It's a little complicated when we talk about exact percentages, because percentages change depending on the amount and depending on the time the salary is paid. For example, if the salary is paid every 10th or every 15th day of each month, the percentage might be different, okay, compared to the next month, the same day, even if the amount stays the same. All right. So again, I keep mentioning it. If you want to know more, if you want to understand better and would like to have exact information, always better to speak to an accountant. Right? This is just to give you an general information. So except for personal income tax, there might be social security payments. Well, it's not a tax, technically, but it's still, monthly payment. So this is something you might want to consider. Social security payment is normally paid, for your Chinese staff. Okay, this is at least in Shanghai. For example, in different regions, the law and policy might be different. But in Shanghai, foreigners are not required to pay social security. But if you have Chinese staff, then you're expected to pay social security every month for each one of your Chinese staff. In Shanghai, it's around 2,000 yuan. Okay, it never changes. Well, if there is a change, obviously your accountant is going to let you know. But right now, it's around 2,000 yuan. Okay, it's not related to the salary amount. It's not related to anything, basically. You just keep paying for each one of your Chinese staff 2,000 yuan every month for their social security. And you, as a foreign employee of your company, you can also participate in social security payments, and that's entirely optional in Shanghai. All right. So this is it, guys. There are also other like minor taxes which I don't have any exact knowledge about. For example, there is a tax related to your office, tax related to other stuff, really minor taxes like one yuan, 2 yuan, around that range. So of course, if you want to know more about them, you can directly get in touch with our accountant. You can send us an email or leave your questions in the comment section below. I would be happy to talk about them as well. But generally speaking, these are the expenses and taxes that you are facing when you register a company and start doing business in China. Alright guys, so this is it. I'm going to finish this video, and yeah, see you in the next one. Thank you.